after I started getting into that, I started taking some piano lessons. Like I actually didn't have any music training at all, like zero.
Oh, okay. So you played piano after?
Yeah, and then I started taking some piano lessons and actually learning, you know, how to play stuff and read music, and a little bit of music theory stuff. But yeah.
It's Gina with Sidewalk Talk. This is
What's
We Are
up?
Fury. Stuart.
So
we're just gonna start this interview. You're born and raised in Vancouver.
Yes, I am.
Tell me what it's like growing up in Vancouver.
I don't know. It's fairly normal. I mean, I haven't lived anywhere else, so I can't really say it's better or worse than anywhere else. But you know,
how would your friends and family describe you growing up?
I was a very hyper kid growing up.
You were a hyper kid.
I was a hyper kid.
Like sports or just in general?
Like a bit of everything. I did a lot of sports. I played hockey. I played soccer. I did martial arts.
You did what kind?
Karate.
Did you get pretty far into it?
I did. I actually have my black belt.
You do?
I do have my black belt.
Wow, congratulations. That's crazy. I quit yellow belt. I think that's like
that's the second one.
That's the second
That's
level.
the second one.
Yep. How are you doing at school?
I had pretty good grades in school. I went to post-secondary, the sort of prestigious college of Vancouver, UBC, University of British Columbia.
Awesome.
And I actually did finish my degree. And I have a degree in microbiology and psychology.
So what did you want to pursue with microbiology?
As any aspiring science student, I wanted to be a doctor in the beginning.
Nice. Awesome.
And then, a little ways into that, I realized that maybe this doctor thing is not for me. But I was sort of like too far in to stop. So I felt like, I needed to at least finish it.
Right.
Kind of get it done. Have something to show for my efforts. So I finished up my degree in microbiology, and the whole time I was sort of doing a little bit of music, sort of ramping up. And then once I finished my degree, I was like, I'm gonna give this music thing a shot.
Where did you get your creative side from?
Honestly, I'm not sure. So I have a really big extended family, like cousins and aunts and uncles and stuff. My mother has 7 other siblings. So we have a massive, we all live.
You have a huge family.
Yeah, and we all live like in the same city. So we have massive family gatherings. But surprisingly, not very many of them are like particularly in particularly creative fields. Yeah, so I'm not really sure where it comes from.
What did your family do? Your parents?
My mom is in software development, and my dad is like a sort of handyman, general contractor type thing.
Cool.
So he does like a lot of construction type work. Yeah, so very different from something that I do.
So when you said you were going to go into music full time, were they pretty supportive of it?
Medium, I mean, they weren't unsupportive, let's put it that way. But I wouldn't say they were supportive. My mom, I guess both my parents, are pretty big believers of like, you gotta make money to have a good life.
Right.
And sort of the way they saw it was, it's hard to make money doing music, which it honestly is hard to make money doing music.
Right.
But I think I'm at a point where, over the years of doing it, they've become more and more supportive as they've sort of seen my success, which is cool. And it's kind of been cool to see the transformation of their support, and sort of they're getting more and more on board, and like, my dad's wearing my merch now. And
that's so sweet.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah,
they were
awesome.
they're on a trip to Europe right now, tour of some like medieval dungeon, and there's like this chalkboard where I guess you prisoners could write, it said any last wishes on the chalkboard. And my parents went out to it and they wrote "We Are Fury" on the chalkboard and sent me a picture of it. It's hilarious.
That is the sweetest thing. So they're supportive now. That's awesome.
They are, which is great.
And tell me about when you met Joaquin. Well, I am struggling to say is like Joaquin.
Joaquin?
Joaquin?
Yeah, M.
Joaquin.
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 Tough one.
Yeah.
Even I couldn't say it at first.
Yeah, no.
When I first so we both went to UBC, University of British Columbia.
Right.
And we were both sort of part of this music club. And I was playing a show, like a DJ event for this as part of the music club. And I guess he saw my name. Back then we were both solo projects. So we were both kind of just doing our own thing. And he saw my name appear on some poster thing, and I guess he checked out some of my stuff, and he reached out to me.
Oh.
And then I was like, oh, cool. Like I haven't really met like that many other music producers. The music club thing that I was part of was more of a DJ thing rather than a creative writing your own music thing.
Right.
So that's how we first linked up, and then we did a few collaborations as solo projects. So like his name, my names together as solo projects, and I think we did 3.
But what got you into music in the first place?
Oh, in the first place?
Yeah.
How did I start? I think I started maybe when I was 14, 15, and I was really into gaming at the time.
And that's kind of how you got your sounds?
Sort of. So there's this artist named Bass Hunter. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
And he made music for these like not necessarily like video game soundtracks, but he made music about video games. So one of his like most popular songs was called Dota.
Yes,
and it was about the
game.
Dota game, which was I played that at the time.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, me too.
And I've sort of transitioned into like League of Legends and all those things.
No.
No, we don't like them.
But there's like a divide between.
There is a divide. Yeah. Yeah, so that was like what first got me into music. Like listening to that stuff, I was like, I want to make something cool like this. Like this sounds super cool. And I looked up some tutorials and got some music creating software and sort of just slowly progressed from there. Like it was really slow at first, but
what made you? Because not a lot of people when they're playing games, they'll think, yeah, I want to make that type of music.
I think it was like the music that was associated with playing these games, and I honestly can't remember what like really sparked it.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, oh, this is cool. I want to try making something like this. And after looking up some YouTube tutorials, it seemed like it was not too difficult to get started.
Right.
Which was, So and then after I started getting into that, I started taking some piano lessons. Like I actually didn't have any music training at all, like zero.
Oh, okay. So you played piano after?
Yeah, and then I started taking some piano lessons and actually learning how to play stuff and read music, and a little bit of music theory stuff. But yeah, I was sort of primarily focused on writing music rather than learning all of the RCM contemporary stuff. So I didn't really have like I wouldn't say I have a classical music training. That was sort of my first intro to music.
When you met with Joaquin, he approached you. Did you want to be a duo? Did you think did you want to kind of do it solo, or did you?
Not right away. So when I first met him, I was fairly content, I'd say, with my solo thing. It wasn't progressing particularly quickly or anything like that. But the kind of concept of a duo seemed pretty cool to me, and sort of being able to like split up the duties of who's doing what and just collaborating with people. I hadn't done very many collaborations in the past, and most of the ones I did, either didn't turn out or they weren't very enjoyable. So then originally when we started Fury, we were both making very different music than Fury stuff, the trap future-based stuff, and sort of coming together and approaching this idea of starting a new project together gave us the sort of freedom to do something completely different. Yeah. And that was, we both kind of agreed that, let's try this trap future-based thing. Like, we were both into that kind of music at the time, but from like a branding perspective and all that, like it doesn't really make sense to just switch your music style to something completely different. Just,
Right.
Yeah. So that's how we kind of got started.
Is the biggest struggle personally or within the music industry?
One of the struggles that I've been facing, I've been dealing a lot with recently, is sort of like not necessarily finding your creativity, but balancing the creative part of it with the doing it as a career part of it. So I'm sure any artist, any creative, any person in a creative industry can tell you that you don't always get to do exactly what you want, because at the end of the day you got to put food on the table. And it's kind of this weird thing where someone who's not in the field might see it as, well, of course you should always do what your creative heart tells you to do, but sometimes that might be a little too weird. It might be conflicting with your business plan, and there's so many extra things to think about. And so something that I've been struggling with is sort of finding my creativity again in this business world almost, and not getting too caught up in the business part of it, not getting too caught up in the branding and marketability part of it. And so I'm sort of been trying to make sure that I don't lose that, because that's how you lose your motivation, that's how you lose your creativity, and that's how you lose maybe the element that got people into your music in the first place.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Remembered in life, or
with it, I guess, however way you take it.
What do I want to be remembered for? I think I want to be remembered for spreading good vibes.
Aww,
whether that's through
that.
music, or whether that's through experiences that I share with people. And I think that's something that maybe people don't think about enough, is sort of these experiences that you have and the relationships that you create, and being remembered in ways like that. So for example, this year has not been the greatest year for me in terms of family members. I've lost a couple of grandparents in the past year. And something that it sort of made me think about is, how people remember you, and, how I remember my grandparents is all the experiences that we had together and all the moments that we shared. And, I want people's memories of me to be the moments that we shared together. It feels like I'm fishing. Whoa!
Okay, all right. Fan questions.
Is real?
Favorite song you've ever created by Sword 389?
When you said by Sword 3, I was like, a song that I made that was by Sword? What? Favorite song that I've ever created? I would say my favorite song that I've ever created is some of the stuff that we haven't actually released yet.
Ooh!
So exciting, right?
When are you gonna release it?
I mean, it's still in the works. We're still working on the song, and also, we haven't decided when to release it. But I would say definitely sometime within the next 6 months.
Oh, okay, that's pretty soon.
Yeah, not crazy far away, but yeah.
Who's the better gamer?
Depends on what kind of game. I think Joaquin is pretty good at sort of FPS type games. I don't know if anyone's seen him stream this game called Mordhau.
Mordhau?
Yeah. Should we turn around?
Yeah. Because I keep staring at this.
Oh.
Security.
So I don't know if anyone's ever seen Joaquin stream Mordhau, but it's like this. It's kind of, I don't know if I'd call it battle royale, but if anyone's ever heard of Star Wars Battlefront, so it's sort of like a frontline game. He kills in that game. He'll go 20 kills and not die, and he'll just carry his team.
Okay.
I would say I'm better at, I would say I have a more diverse catalog of games than Joaquin. I like my indie games, I like my platformers, I like my roguelike Metroidvania games, a couple of buzzwords in there.
Okay, so it depends on the game.
Yeah, I would say so.
What's next for We Are Fury?
We've been working on a whole bunch of stuff lately. We're putting together an album. An album is in the works. We're about to release an EP, by the time this video gets posted, it'll probably be all ready to go. And coming into 2020, we're really hoping to get on the road and play some shows, get out there, meet some of our fans. And so there's been a lot of talks about that and figuring out the logistics of touring and all that stuff. So that's something that's kind of our next big move, is trying to get on the road.
Ivaki, what to focus on as a young producer?
I'd say focus on figuring out what you like first. That's, I would say, the most important thing. Figure out what you like to make, what you like to do, what you like your songs to sound like. And I think focusing on the songwriting, like writing a good song, making something that is really interesting to you, and not getting too caught up in like the mix and the sound design and like what sounds good and whether it's like industry standard and all that stuff. So I think people get way too caught up in that, and that sort of blocks their creativity and blocks their progression in, you know, finishing a song especially.
How do you handle writer's block?
Taking lots of breaks, honestly.
What do you do like to break? Just like play games or what do you do?
Play games, get outside, go for a walk. Something that I've been getting really into recently is rock climbing, like bouldering.
Oh, cool.
You said
Bouldering is the one where you don't use any...
Yeah, you said you're from Colorado?
Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Chicago. I don't know. Okay, sorry.
Chicago. But we do have bouldering.
Oh, okay, yeah. Bouldering is a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun doing that. Mm-hmm. It's also like made me actually exercise and be healthier. That's something, you know. Joaquin likes to work out. He relieves stress.
He does. I saw the
tire
the video
thing.
Where
yeah,
he's like flipping a tire. That's like gigantic.
That was a very big tire.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, taking breaks, getting your mind off music, I think is the most important thing. And whether that's, you know, meeting up with some friends, going out to eat, doing some cooking. I really like cooking.
Oh, what's your favorite dish that you make?
I like making ramen, like homemade ramen, like buying all the bones. Oops, I pressed a button here.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It's not connected.
Buying all the bones, boiling that shit for 4 hours. I made like quite a few.
You make your own ramen?
Yeah. It's like a whole process, like a whole day.
What? That's actually really cool.
Yeah, I started a food Instagram because Joaquin really wanted me to start one, and so I'm starting to post up all my food pictures that that I'm making.
That is so cool. At what age did you start becoming full-time?
Full-time music, I would say happened. What am I? 26 right now? Almost 27. 23-ish. Yeah, so like, you know, I used to work part-time as a bartender actually. Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny. I was like sort of still in the nightlife industry. And yeah, and I would do that.
You were a bartender?
Yeah.
What was the most common drink that people asked you to make? Or what's the one thing you absolutely hate being asked as a bartender?
This might seem a little specific, but I kind of hate it when people come up to the bar and just ask for a beer. And I'm like, well, what kind of beer? There's more than one kind of beer. And like, you know, it's loud, it's hard to hear. They're like, no, a beer. I'm like, what do you, like, they all cost different prices. Which one do you want?
They're like, surprise me.
And I'm just like, why can't you just like, look, there's a menu right in front of you. Just pick one.
I need to, okay.
Maybe I should have been giving them the most expensive one when I asked for it.
Actually, you should just do that, and then you'll just get tipped.
Yeah, just get more money.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, not really ordering a specific thing, but just like, give me a drink. I'm like, well, what kind of drink?
I'm super indecisive, so I like the bartender to just pick whatever.
If you can say something like, oh, get me you know, bartender's choice, then I'm like, all right, sure, and you know, I can.
Bartender's choice. I like that. I'm gonna use that from now on. Okay.
Feel free.
Who's more of a furry? Now, what is this furry thing?
The furry thing is all about the memes.
Do you know who originated, or like who started this whole furry thing?
I'm honestly not sure if it's like something that we heard from a fan or something that we like thought of ourselves. I know some of my cousins kind of made jokes about that. Mm-hmm. Like maybe that's where I heard it and then I said it. I don't know.
Okay.
I think we're equally furries.
You're equally furries.
Yeah.
I like that answer.
You know, I don't like to choose favorites, so.
Yeah. All right. So this is Stuart from We Are Furry. Free or Fury.
ruined.
No!
Smash that bell icon, massage it gently, and take it out for dinner first because, you know, all that.
All right, bye guys.